Pro Wrestling Magic fans, I am a longtime independent wrestling fan, Robert. The show must go on. It was a great way for PWM to kick off 2019. The night begins with tag team action as Team España, Jose and Hose B, take on Meat on a Mission, Hot Dog Starks and Cheeseburger. During the match, I forgot what song was playing, but they had a little dance-off before Team España attacked them. And that was, the fun and games were over on that one. Meat on a Mission wound up defeating Team España, and as a result of the victory, they would be competing in the second Chad Adams Memorial Rumble later in the show. Next up was women's action as we saw Solo Darling defeat Sam Laterna. I don't know if there was any controversy at the end of that because Darling had some kind of submission hold on. The referee said Laterna tapped out, and Laterna said, no, I was grabbing the rope. So not really, it's kind of reminiscent of when Taz faced the late Bam Bam Bigelow at Heatwave 98, and I remember Shane Douglas kept screaming, he was reaching for the ropes! So I don't know if they're going to build on that or not. And apparently, women's champion Katrid was unable to make the show. Up next, we were set to see a triple threat match with the American Murder Society, Aaron Bradley and Steve Off, the Jersey Muscle Society, Steve Gibke and Tony Vincita, and the Psycho Drivers, Everett Cross and Smiley. Hours before the show, Steve Gibke had been attacked, and Vincita wanted to go it alone, but Stephen J. Higgins says, no, you don't have a partner, and one person cannot be a tag team. So he had to leave the ring. And then prior to the match, Steve Off takes the microphone. He tells Higgins and John Tella, look, we didn't make any excuses last month. We don't want to make excuses this time. So if both of you could just leave, we want to do this on our own. And reluctantly, Tella and Higgins left the ring. And the match was on, and the Psycho Drivers defeated Steve Off and Aaron Bradley to retain the tag team championship. But then Higgins comes back out, and, he's berating them for losing, and he tells Off, oh, you're all over social media. And he tells Bradley, hey, look at my skunk. And he says, what did that get you guys? Jack shit. And he says one man who's takes this seriously, and that's my hero, John Tella. And Tella came out from another area, attacked both Bradley and Off, and basically Off and Bradley have basically been shown the door from American Murder Society, and wouldn't be surprised if Higgins and Tella rebuild. Next up was initially scheduled to be a six-way match in which the winner would earn a spot in the Junior Heavyweight Championship. In the six-way match that's taken place at the anniversary show, April 20th, for to crown the first ever Junior Heavyweight Champion. But we had a five-way match which saw Dan Gallagher defeat Tony Rush, Brandon Kirk, Drew Blood, and the Sky Reaper Casey Navarro. During this matchup, Brandon Kirk powerbombed Navarro, and apparently something went wrong because Navarro was not moving for the rest of the match. Gallagher, I forgot who he ended up pinning. I don't know if they actually ended the match sooner than they were supposed to. And paramedics were called, and I could see Navarro had broken down crying. And I don't know if I'm guessing he didn't really want to go to the hospital, but he had to. It was a scary moment, and at that point it did go to intermission. We had to bear with the situation. Eventually, he's stretchered out of the ring and obviously taken off to a hospital. And the action resumed with DJ Hyde challenging Adam Page for the Dark Arts Championship. The brawl escalated in the early going to the point where they went out to the floor. Hyde hits Page with a chair. The referee calls for the gong and disqualifies Hyde. But then Payne goes to the curtain. He drags Stephen J. Higgins with him, and he says, I want a battlefield brawl, no DQ right now. And the match was restarted, and they had quite a brawl, and Payne bled profusely. Some of his blood got all over the floor. Eventually, Payne brought, I forgot, somebody put, well, I remember Hyde pushed Payne off the ropes. No, he powerbombed Payne off the top rope onto 4 chairs. Only like 2 of those chairs survived. Payne dropped Hyde on a bunch of Lego blocks that were set up in the ring. Hyde was eventually tied in the ropes, and Payne took, I don't know, what was like a bandana or something, and he asked for like a pitcher of water. Payne puts that, I don't know, cloth over Hyde's face, and he's pouring water all over it, and the water got so wet. And, it's like water torture, basically. And the referee eventually stopped the match and declared Payne the winner, still the Dark Arts champion. I mean, funny thing, when Payne was doing that to Hyde, I was having flashbacks of the movie G.I. Jane with Demi Moore. My mom loved her. And that was, I think, a scene that happened in that movie where, like, not really had her face covered up, but, like, her mouth was covered up, or, like, constantly given water to the point where she'd start choking and all. Next matchup, we see the Messiah of Old School, Sean Donovan, go one-on-one with El Presidente Sanchez. This match wound up a no contest because both men pushed through the referee around. A bunch of the other referees come out, and Sanchez grabbed a hold of one referee and gave him 2 top rope stomps. And Stephen J. Higgins comes out and he's telling Sanchez, look, you can't push officials around, you can't do this. And Sanchez is about to do another top rope stomp, and he does, and he tells Sanchez, you're indefinitely suspended, get out of the ring, you're not in the Rumble tonight. And Sanchez was not happy about all that. Then up next, we had Brian Pillman Jr. challenging the baddest of them all, Dan Moff, for the heavyweight title. During this match, Moff did retain the title with the Burning Hammer. But during the match, I don't know if Pillman had a little trouble. I understand. I don't know if he passed wind or he soiled himself. But everybody was like pointing out what had happened apparently at some point during the match. Then it was time for the second annual Chad Adams Memorial Rumble match, where the winner would get a shot at any championship they want at the anniversary show on Saturday, April 20th. Here is the order of entry. The Meadowlands Monster, Evan Myers, Dan Gallagher, Anthony Gangone, Overtime TJ Crawford, Cheeseburger, Solo Darling, Drew Blood, Brandon Kirk, and Tony Rush were all sent out. The 3 of them were sent out together. John Tella, Aaron Bradley, Ron Voyage, more on him in a little bit, Steve Off, KTB, Devin Moore, Frankie Picard, DeMarcus Kane, Sebastian Cage, Jimmy Lloyd, Anthony Marcos, the Cookie Pimp, TK Luther, Stephen J. Higgins, Hot Dog Starks, Johnny Malanga, who came out wearing a mask, and he unmasked and unveiled himself. And by the way, he came out to U2's Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me from the movie Batman Forever. High time somebody used that for entrance music. Tony Vincita, Big Deal Craig Steele, Brian Pillman Jr., Magic, and Mr. Lucky was the Messiah of Old School, Sean Donovan. Well, can't remember every bit and piece of this chaotic match in the elimination order. What I can tell you is Evan Myers had taken out handcuffs when he and the Monster were starting the match. Monster eventually handcuffed Myers to the rope. Dan Gallagher was the first one eliminated, as he eliminated himself after Monster pointed over the top rope. Monster also eliminated TJ Crawford. When John Tella hit the ring, he attacked Monster and gave him a pile driver. And Monster, I guess, rolled out of the ring. Excuse me. Tella eliminated both Bradley and Off. Eliminated KTB. Eliminated Devin Moore. Frankie Picard. No, I'm sorry, he didn't eliminate Frankie Picard. Sorry. I forgot how Tella got eliminated. Oh, well, Ron Voyage, who came to the ring to Buster Poindexter's Hot, Hot, Hot. He started a conga line with mostly guys having a cream fest. I did notice Gail got into that one. I think another lady too, but I don't even know who that was. Eventually, it came down. Basically, they pulled a 1995 Royal Rumble deal as Monster and Myers were given the Shawn Michaels, Davey Boy Smith treatment. They started the Rumble, and they were the last two to finish it. At which point, Myers eventually threw fire in the Monster's face. Myers tried to choke out Monster with some kind of a noose, and I forgot how it happened, but Monster eventually flung Myers over the top rope to the floor to win the Rumble. And as a result, he gets a shot at any championship he deserves. And there was this guy, did not get his name. He had this weird hairstyle, and he took the microphone, and he was saying, you know, there's one man who's been undefeated since debuting in Pro Wrestling Magic, and announced, and pretty much made the announcement that Monster wants to challenge Adam Payne for the Dark Arts Championship on Saturday, April 20th for the anniversary show. Payne comes in the ring and he tells Monster, hey, do you want it, or does just your manager wants it? And eventually they shook hands, and and that's pretty much how the show ended. Then Scotty Cerriti did the raffle, and I forgot it was like second prize was won by Gail. So the streak of Gail not winning raffle prizes is over. I forgot who went home with the top prize. Okay, so I have some personal notes. Well, when I got off the bus, I went to Dante's on Main Street, and I walked in. I see Pete and his daughter Jamie in there. And by the way, Dante's, they've got some great lasagna. Mikey Mickendro eventually came in, as did Omar. Lawrence from security eventually arrived. But at the show, it was great seeing Gail, Bruno, Phillip, Shane Fair, Elliot. Bruno. And kudos Pro Wrestling Magic for letting the crowd in a little sooner than expected. I guess it's due to the fact that based on the cold. You know, I forgot to mention this, but during the tag title match, Tony Vincita came out, attacked both teams. And also at one point, the lights in the room went out. I don't know if they went out sooner than expected, but out came a masked man, and he was ready to take the mask off, but then the lights go back out, and the lights come back, and the masked man was gone. He was face-to-face with Everett Cross of the Psycho Drivers at that point. They're sitting across the room from us in the front row were these teenagers with maroon hooded sweaters on. And they basically had a cream fest hugging Dan Moff after his win. And throughout the night, as the 2 Club was in full effect, those teenagers kept yelling, "Sweet!" and eventually I retaliated by yelling "sour" through my megaphone. I don't know if those kids will ever come back, but, if anybody does that again, I'm ready for yous. Well, surprisingly, Bill Parham and Jason Bob 87 arrived just as the second half of the show was getting underway, since they had seen the Evolve show in Queens earlier in the evening. Hey, well, it's time for some memorable quotes. Fuck the snow! Fuck the snow! Bruno, Philip, and Mickendro, just as the show was about to get underway. Don't be a pussy! Callie, during the ladies' match. That was the best shitty match. Shane Fair, right after the Moff Pillman Jr. match came to an end. Clean tights! Clean tights! Clean tights! The crowd at Brian Pillman Jr. when he came out for the Rumble match. Sean has a vagina. The crowd at the Messiah of old school Sean Darvin during his match with Sanchez. For those of you who were singing that song, have you actually seen it? Do you know if he has one? Last I checked, the guys don't have it. Right after the show had ended and people were leaving, Sanchez noticed me, and apparently he watched my recap of Shout Out Loud back in November, where I mentioned about my departed mother playing music as she did the laundry in the basement. And he came to me after the show, said he was touched by by that, and it was cool. We got a picture together, and I did tell him that he had come a long way since I first saw him in a match. Hey. Well, Pro Wrestling Magic returns on Saturday, February 16th, as they present the show title I was hoping for, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. And by the way, and if that wasn't enough, that very show is going to mark 2 years since I first saw Pro Wrestling Magic live for the first time. Already announced for that show, Dan Moff defending his championship against Pat Buck and the Croatian sensation Mario Bokara. And also making his return to Pro Wrestling Magic after a very lengthy absence, Joey Ryan. I wonder if his fans who have not been to PWM since Kingdom Come 2017 will be in attendance. After the show, I went to the 7-Eleven a block away, and I noticed Higgins talking with Shane Fair and Mikey Mickendro. Going there has become like my post-show tradition after the show. And thankfully, I'm glad I didn't have to wait too long for the bus to get back to New York City. I'm really trying to get more people to come down to Pro Wrestling Magic to see this awesome product live. Especially a gentleman that I dubbed Mr. Everywhere. Most people know who I'm referring to. I wonder why some of the guys that were going to be in the junior heavyweight match, I know initially Ricky Martinez, Juan Francisco de Coronado, they were originally going to be in the match. I wonder why I guess they were unable to make that show. Hey. Well, Well, one thing I would like to see for Crazy Little Thing Called Love on February 16th, I'd like to see Aaron Bradley and Steve Off against John Tella, and I don't know who he'd get for a partner. And no, I don't know who I'd like to see the Psycho Drivers defend their tag title against. One thing I do know what happened, there will be another match to see who will secure the, let's see, yes, the fifth spot in the six-way match for the first, to crown the first junior heavyweight champion in April. I don't know if it'll be another multi-man match or not. Meadowlands Monster, I'd like to see him maybe face a few other big guys between now and the anniversary show. I mean, I know of a few great big men on the indie on the wrestling circuit that I think could really match up with the Monster. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but thank you, Sanchez, for that picture that we took after the show. Don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Wow. Well, let's see if I can think of anything else to think of. Well, unfortunately, I understand since Shane Fair will not be in attendance February 16th, the Magic Family Portrait's going to have to wait. Even again. I know I sound like Chris Jericho when I said that. Ugh. Really want this to happen someday, but it seems like some people are not at the show. I mean, this is now the second PWM event without Mike McNicholas. But yeah, I do think a lot of this was a PWM. This was a great way to start 2019, and I know things can only get better as time goes on. And this was something. What a show this was. Well, I know I can't sing like the late Freddie Mercury, but I'll say it right now. Magic will go. Oh, fuck it. I can't. I'll hurt my throat doing it. No way. The magic will go on, obviously. Can't really put a finger on what other Queen songs are going to be used for show titles as this year rages on. Oh, man. Oh, I can't believe I got to mention this. Nice seeing Erica. How could I forget about that lady? So, yeah. Great way to start off 2019 Pro Wrestling Magic. Keep up the awesome work.